Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone. It is 8:04 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this first day of March 2021. Just so happens that a Monday is the first trading day of a new month. Those are always interesting, and if I have time this week, I'll go over why that is and how it relates to equity markets and some commodity markets. Just kind of doing a little broad rundown here of the various pairs that I look at and trade. I just want to kind of take a little walk through the poppies here. So I've got the 3-week chart on the top left, the weekly chart on the top right, and then the daily chart on the bottom. And actually what I want to do is I want to get rid of the volume because it's not important. Somebody listening is probably saying that is evil, but I mean, foreign currencies are not a fixed volume instrument, not like stocks. And so there's really no purpose to the volume. Also, even if there was a fixed amount, it's you're dealing with a market that trades trillions every day. Good luck trying to find volume that makes any sense in that realm. Volume is mostly anecdotal in foreign currencies. Okay, enough about that. So looking at the Aussie Looney here on the 3-week chart, this is a pretty bearish candlestick setup we've got going on here. But this doesn't resolve until the 7th of March. So we've got really until next week until we get a new candle. It's looking pretty ugly up here. We see that the composite index on the 3-week has crossed down pretty, not really elevated at all on the RSI. Weekly chart, we just see a setup to continue south. And then the daily chart, I mean, there's a good look. If you want to look at it, possibly a short on the daily, watch for the lagging span to move right around here at 97.08. If it crosses, if it moves down below and stays below these candles over here, then we should be set up for a pretty nice move to the south. Aussie Looney, clear rejection on the 3-week chart up against the top of the cloud, single span B on the 3-week chart. Really see prices getting halted there. The weekly chart, we can see we've retraced. This overnight volume, we'll see if this is going to stay valid or not, but trading higher, bouncing off the Tenkan Sen. We haven't had a test of the Kijun Sen on the weekly chart since back in November. The daily chart, we are currently kind of testing that. We could see a breakdown here on the daily chart, but we'll keep our eyes out on that. Aussie yen, again, bearish 3-week looking candlestick. On the weekly, currently we've got an inside bar. Same story as we just looked at with a lot of the other Aussie pairs. Well, the prior two there. Looks like we could see some breakdown on the daily. AUD USD, bearish 3-week candle. We're facing some fib confluence resistance on the weekly and on the daily. And very much like the other pairs, we get the lagging span to drop down to this level here at 75.50. Expect some really strong downside pressure. A little bit of chop here in the meantime as we are in between the Kijun Sen on the daily chart and the top of the cloud single span A. A lot of support structure there. And then as we get down to here, single span B, that is the strongest area of support and resistance on a chart. Expect a little support down there as well. The Looney Swissy, Canadian dollar, moving up pretty nicely. Really don't see much over there for right now. Swiss yen, seeing some breakdown here. This looks very much like on the 3-week chart at least, like we could be developing some kind of wedge pattern on here. I really don't know how relevant that's going to be, but there's some near-term support at the Kijun Sen on the weekly chart at make sure that this is crosshairs the same and drawing. Really kind of looking at that 116.06 as a support zone. However, on the daily chart, this could turn into a really nice sell setup. We get the lagging span and the candlesticks to close below single span B. Really, when we're kind of looking at that 115.73, that could trigger some really fast movements to the south. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see if that will play out. The dollar index, 3-week chart. I mean, we've been looking at the 3-week chart for all of February, basically saying the 3-week chart is looking like we're going to see some movement higher. We have the conversion line crossing above both averages. I mean, the dollar index looks like it's poised for a pretty good move higher. Originally, we were just looking at, let me maximize the 3-week chart. We were just looking at Tenkan Sen on the 3-week chart to kind of be our initial resistance. We did really kind of test that the last 3-week period, the 25th of January. Actually, we've been looking at this since January, never mind. But it looks like from here, we may very well move higher to test Senko Span B and the Kijun Sen. Not totally convinced of that, but I mean, there's been a lot of pressure to sell the dollar lower. We'll see if that continues. If not, we could really blow right past 92 and head all the way up to 96 fairly easily. And that's just looking at the 3-week chart. The daily chart, I mean, I have this line here still. I mean, this is really kind of a breakout range to move higher. That's what we'd be looking at. Euro Aussie, that is a very strong rejection move lower. The 3-week candle that we currently see bounced right off Senko Span B. Weekly chart, current week's a little. I mean, this is Monday. Wouldn't read too much into it, but still looking at a bigger move here. Euro Looney facing some pressure. Might consider a possible long here. We'll keep an eye on that one. Euro Swiss, nothing there. Euro Pound. Euro Pound we may look at a counter trend long here, but we'll leave it alone. Euro Yen, maybe a short or a long here. Well, I mean, just kind of looking at things that'll kind of stick out. I want those high probability setups. Which the Euro Kiwi is one that also has a setup on the daily. We could see this convert long very easily. Keep an eye on it though. Euro dollar, US dollar. We looked at this trade idea from, I don't remember when we did this one, but we have this short that is really continuing to play out here, and really don't see many changes with it. I did this on, what time frame did I do this on? I wonder if did I even review it with this group? I can't remember. I don't remember. Pound Aussie, we should continue to look at this guy continuing to move up. Pound Looney, yeah, this one could be a quick mover to the south. We'll watch that. Pound Swiss, I think there's some selling pressure. We're going to go to point and figure charts tomorrow. I just want to look at everything from a Ichimoku perspective. Pound Yen, you still see weakness, temporary weakness here. Pound Kiwi, see some strength there. Pound dollar really got hammered last week. I mean, this is a pretty strong zone that got hit here, and the current weekly's even a little lower as we're talking right now. When the daily crosses below the Kijun Sen, that is going to be a signal to go lower, especially if it drops below the Kijun Sen and it breaks Friday's low. Watch out for that one to kind of start moving south pretty fast. Kiwi Looney, the Kiwi out of all the other Looney pairs so far seems to be holding up the most. Kiwi Swiss, Kiwi Yen. Might be looking at a short there. So the NZD USD, there's a really good short here. If it comes down, the thing we're looking for is the lagging span to break into open space. And if that occurs, that'd be awesome. The area we're looking at, I gotta turn the magnet off for this. Really looking at it, I would just say really a lagging span closing around 71.15 or so. That'd be what I'd look for. We're below the Tenkan Sen on the weekly chart, but there's still a huge gap between where price is at and the Tenkan Sen and the Kijun Sen on the 3-week chart. There's still a pretty big gap there. US dollar, Canadian dollar. It's in this falling wedge on the weekly chart. And I mean, I'd be looking at the breakout here as opposed to a continuation south. I see this guy moving up higher. Yeah, this is poised for a pretty strict bounce. That the play. I mean, if you want to look at it on the weekly or on the daily, I think we're going to get into some shared levels of entrance. But on the weekly chart, we'd really be looking for a break above really the open here at kind of getting above 72.45. On the daily chart, we could even move this up a little bit more if we wanted to, but that's what we're looking for. On the daily chart, we're right on top of the Kijun Sen. Rejected at the bottom of the cloud. Looking for support here up against the daily Kijun Sen. We'll see if that holds. Dollar Swiss. I mean, the dollar Swiss is just on a nice little run here. Really kind of exactly the things we were looking at over the last few weeks. Dollar yen. Again, there's some more evidence of dollar strength coming, and that should do it for me. So 12 minutes long. We went over a bunch of pairs. I think we've got a good outlook on some opportunities we may find going into Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Anyways, from all of us here at Exchange Rates UK TV, I hope you all had a good weekend, a safe weekend. Hope you guys have a great start to your week. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will speak with you all tomorrow.